If you're a business owner and you are trying to speak to multiple different groups of people to sell your product or your service or attract them to your brand, and you are using the same marketing messaging to speak to them all, then I hate to break it to you, but you're making your life much harder than it needs to be. Most founders don't realise how damaging it is to treat these different audience groups as if they are behaviourally the same. It weakens your marketing and it drags down your sales. Today I'm going to show you why this happens and what you can do to fix it, because it affects everything from your content to your conversions, and you are left wondering why you feel like you're doing all of the things and nothing is landing. In marketing, we call it audience segmentation. And it sounds complicated, but it really isn't. It is just understanding why different groups of people make different purchasing decisions. But because this is my first long form, I first need to tell you about why I'm credible enough to deliver it. There are a lot of people who will put a script together using ChatGPT and deliver it as if they are an expert in the subject matter already, but actually their knowledge doesn't stand up under questioning because it's just surface level and they've never actually applied it in practice. And that's why I've started this channel, because before I built my own brand, I spent 12 years working on theirs. Because the biggest brands in the world became the biggest brands in the world by making strategically led, data-informed decisions. They didn't operate on hunches or throwing 90 different tactics they'd seen online or in books and hoped for the best. Most people online would have you believe that marketing is a series of growth hacks that will increase your return on ad spend, improve your on-site conversion. A lot of founders think that this is my next trick to achieve the growth that I'm looking for. But the reality is that these don't deliver the big growth shift because the communication foundations of their business are broken. They don't have a clear value proposition. They don't have a point of differentiation. They are not connecting what they do with why their audience should care about it. And if you do not have that at the core, then no amount of optimizing your meta campaigns or optimizing your on-page SEO is going to fix that. So in my marketing practice, we start from the ground up, because execution is only effective if there's a strategic foundation for it to stand on. Before we start, I'm going to tell you a story of actually why this matters. 6 years ago, I had a call from a founder. He said to me, I have got no idea why my paid ads aren't landing. He'd started a healthy lifestyle and fitness app. It was an all-in-one solution. It was actually really good. He'd raised a considerable sum in investment. And it transpired that he had been targeting everybody from the ages of 18 to 65 with a general interest in fitness with the same marketing message. But if you think about that for a second, an 18-year-old bodybuilder is going to have very different requirements for that app from somebody who is 70 and recovering from knee surgery. This is why you need to be segmenting your audience and delivering them the message that they are going to be the most likely to respond to, especially if you have a broad interest product or service. One of the most common issues I see is that when I hop on a free discovery call with a potential client, I say to them, who are your target audience? Around 40 to 50% of the early stage founders say to me, I don't know who my target audience are. The strongest businesses are built from understanding who your target audience are, what problem you're solving for them, and retailing the solution at a price point they are willing to pay. An understanding of who your audience are is a non-negotiable if you want to build a sustainable business. And the second issue I see is that when they do have a target audience and they've tried segmenting by age. But the reality is, age tells you almost nothing about purchase behaviour, because people purchase based on their needs, their priorities. And two people can be 67, they can be affluent, they can live in Surrey, and demographically, they look exactly the same. Have a broad target audience. You cannot segment on age alone. What you need to be looking at is what the need is for a product like yours. So when you are taking a broad target audience, you need to do the research to understand why somebody would buy the product or service that you are selling and segment according to that. Do not segment according to their age. Because if you're selling one product or service to multiple people, those are the multiple angles that you need to go at it from. Because a single message sent to all of your target audience creates generic relevance. And generic relevance is very easily filtered out. If you think of yourself not as a business owner for a second, but as a consumer, how easy is it for you to filter out all of the marketing messages that don't feel like they are talking to you? The ones that you feel are generic or meant for somebody else. Different groups care about different outcomes. If your messaging doesn't reflect this, then it just slides straight off them. And then that translates into your content, because your content then tries to cover too many bases. This is where burnout comes from, because you're trying thing after thing after thing after thing and nothing's landing, and you just think, well, why do I bother? But when your content speaks to a very specific group of people, it makes it much easier for the algorithm to find your group of people, and when they watch it, they see themselves and their problems reflected in your content pretty quickly. So try this segmentation model instead. You are selling soft boxes. Think about all of the different use cases for these soft boxes. Photographers, content creators, influencers, small brands who are doing photography from their kitchen table and they want a better lighting solution. Look at what your product or service does and match it to the people who will find it the most valuable. You look at the motivation. What is driving their decision? Why do they need your product or your service? And then the moment, when is it that this need becomes urgent? What is triggering them to take action and driving the conversion? When you understand these three layers, you naturally start to see why people make the purchasing decisions that lead up to purchasing your product and be able to create your entire marketing plan around this structure. Because then you have clarity of direction, clarity of messaging, clarity of audience. Then your actual execution starts landing. This is when marketing becomes easier. You're no longer trying to appeal to absolutely everyone. You are speaking to the people who value what you're offering. So if your sales feel unpredictable, segmentation usually is the missing piece. Once you understand who you're talking to, what they care about, how you slot into their lives, everything becomes so much easier. And your execution starts actually compounding in momentum. So if you want to learn how to fix the structural issues that are hampering businesses from growing, hit subscribe, because I'm going to show you how to rebuild your marketing from the inside out and develop those really strong business foundations that make your execution hit harder. Because the truth is that markets aren't saturated, you just haven't found your place within it yet. And this is when an understanding of your target audience, what frustrations they have that aren't currently being serviced, that's where that plays in. Look at your broad audience and look at what they currently do, what they're frustrated by, and what they want to change.